Oh shit, right now?
Right fucking now.
Right now.
Oh fuck, man. Here I am over here in a not safe for work. No, I'm just kidding. Is the music fading? Are we that live?
We're that live. The music is
We're
fading.
that live. Fuck, we're that live. Welcome,
Damn.
ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
right. We're not that live because I
We're not
haven't
that
started
live?
recording.
Fuck, alright,
We're
shit.
that live for the Patreon exclusive.
Oh, sweet. This is the the preem. So,
But I'll start recording now. So
okay, I'll put myself to voice activation.
voice activation. My
Voice
browser
activation.
gave me a notification
Yeah, the preem.
that
Yes,
we are streaming.
I got that too. I'm just
I also
cracking
got that.
Having a can,
A cold one for the
Baby.
boys.
Sounded fresh.
a tinny.
It's the freshest, tinniest non-tin. It's actually a bottle of vanilla Coke. Haven't had it in a while. Good.
Dude,
Ooh,
vanilla
nice.
Coke is the best of the Cokes.
Well,
Pretty
I think
good.
It's right up there. Top soda. Top soda 10 for sure. Top soda 10.
what's top?
My new movie coming soon. I don't know, man. That's a big question. We're gonna have an 8-hour
Iron Brew?
podcast deliberating that.
Iron Brew.
Iron Brew is quality, man.
Iron
Yeah.
Brew is pretty good. I think there's a limit on how much Iron Brew you can have before you start to hate yourself. But I
Oh,
suppose that's
100%.
true of any soda, right?
Do you guys remember Blue Pepsi?
Soda, what
Did
are
you
you
ever
rating?
try it?
I never did. Although apparently they're thinking of bringing it back.
They're
Question mark?
fucking better. That was
Really?
delicious.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fairly confident 90% of it was in fact just blue food coloring.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean it was just Pepsi with blue, right?
I have no idea, to be honest. I swear it tasted slightly different.
I wouldn't. Maybe I don't know. It's probably all marketing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're getting under your.
All in my
under your
head.
teeth.
Getting
Give
to
me
your
the
side.
cue when you need me to do the intro, Jamie. Give me the secret
You can
signal.
do the intro whenever you like, Dan.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I want to do it right now
All right, fuck it. Why not?
to episode number 70 of We Press
No.
Play from your friends
That-
at wepressfans.com.
That can't be right.
It is
it
right.
Not
It is
68?
Really?
right. Yeah.
I reckon
no.
it's.
I had to look at the stats today, and it would be
69.
the number that shall not be named.
Shit.
But unfortunately, it's episode number 70 because we're waiting for that to happen before
That's oh, that's right. The
wait for
return
Morgan
of
again, yeah.
Morgan.
the
Okay.
cave.
So
Yeah.
this is 70. Well, that's good because I accidentally named one of the previous episodes 70 by accident. I don't know why.
So we've already recorded
So we've
this.
already
Is that what
got
you're
a
saying?
70.
We're good?
Yeah. So
Oh,
this will
sweet.
just override that.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a good time to be playing video games. I hear it's potentially one of the best times to play video games. We're
Oh,
here, as you can probably
100%.
tell. We're
That's a
streaming.
bold claim.
I mean, I don't know, man. I would wager there's always the best time to play video games because there's always more video games coming out.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Professionalism is highest. I should get my food as well. We're obviously recording here remotely. I'm at home. Jamie is at his house. Simon.
I'm somewhere in the world. You'll all have to guess.
Okay,
Where in the
we're gonna-
world is Simon?
San Diego, yeah.
San
he's
Diego.
yeah, he's the illegitimate love child of Carmen San Diego and the Hamburglar.
Whatever happened to that game?
I'm in San Diego?
Yeah,
Or the
I don't know,
Hamburglar.
but they should remake it.
both really.
Because that was
don't know.
awesome.
The
Was there-
Hamburglar. There's some stupid lore about the Hamburglar that I remember Matt and I were reading
Is
one
it
night.
that he burgled too many burgers?
I can't remember. It's more to do with like how he was introduced, not so much lore in like the fantastical sense, but like the actual real world sense.
Oh, right. No, I do remember hearing the story.
I
Like
think,
something
yeah.
about they needed a villain.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. It's
Yeah.
knowledge that has completely left me.
Yeah, well, these are the important things that we cover off. We're,
I still
we're
don't
here.
understand Grimace.
It's just a blob of shit.
Yeah.
What is Grimace?
A
You know,
purple
like, is it?
blob.
The thing you do when you grimace.
I think that was a mistake. I think it was the mistake someone, handed to their kids. Hey, you want to design the
Yeah.
latest McDonald's mascot? And they just drew a bit amorphous
Blob.
purple blob. They're like, well, shit, now we're going to make this work.
That makes
Marketing
sense
in
to me.
action, really. Yeah. So we're home here doing it from our respective places for a number of reasons, but we decided to bring you a podcast because we
We're
care
that
so
dedicated.
dearly. Yeah, we couldn't let it get to the stage where we just disappear off the face of the planet for months at a time. Keeping it at least down to the weeks. So we're going to be recording a short podcast here and then jumping straight on into some PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds because I think I know I speak for us all when I say we're pretty heavily addicted to that game.
Oh, 100%. Look, the demand is there, Dan. We don't want to play it. People just keep writing in saying, play more PlayerUnknown's. That's all I want to say.
I know. It's like we actually do have a podcast email line now, and it is just filled up with people saying, why are you even doing a fucking podcast? Why are you wasting your time recording your voices? We want to see you shooting each other in a Battle Royale-inspired fight to the death. So that's, in fact, what we'll be doing a bit later on. But we've got plenty of stuff to talk about here and now because... E3 has stopped being E3, and as a result, kind of news has started kicking off again. Have you guys been keeping your ear to the ground, keeping your beat on the street, doing some investigative journalism and reporting?
Yeah, a little bit.
My beat has been on the street.
Yeah. Where did they? Does anyone know where that phrase came from? Like the on the beat? You know what I mean?
On the beat?
But since we're at home, we do have the internet at our disposal.
Oh, here we go. Let's hear it.
Wait, ear on the ground or beat on the street?
What about ear on the beat?
Ear on the beat.
What's the smoke on the street?
Buy rap beats, eartothebeat.com.
All right, that sounds like the place to go. Let's see. What do they
Royalty-free
have
music
to say?
for sale.
All right.
Oh shit, yeah, man. How much? We could use some royalty-free music. Not that we ever paid for any of it. And so, how much we paying?
Do you like hip-hop instrumentals, Dan?
I fucking love
Hip-hop
hip-hop.
instrumentals.
All the hip-hop
Holy
instrumentals.
shit.
That's
So you can
look,
rap over them, Simon.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. Drop me a hot.
I-
Drop me a
man,
hot four.
It even
Someone
said
plays
hot
music
16.
as soon as you get to the website.
Someone said smoke on the street, so I googled smoke on the street, and all I'm seeing are smoking in public places, City of Sydney.
Don't
There's
smoke
also
on the
a
street.
list of smoking bans in Australia.
Well, maybe you like the sound of me typing because I'm just have to type. But there was a it was Tokyo. That's right, Tokyo in Japan. The very designated smoking areas outdoors are one of those very odd things in the country that I found to be intriguing when we were there, because it's not like there's separation. There's just literal lines on the ground that like you can smoke in here or you can't smoke in here. Apart from the time they were at the airport freezing our asses off, and there was a nice enclosed warm area for the smokers.
I feel like there was a few of those, right?
Yeah, they're all over the place, at least in Japan. I mean, I haven't seen that kind of thing yet. But then again, I'm not out in the street looking for places to smoke. generally.
We've been asked to go change the background by a listener
Change the background.
As
on
in
YouTube.
The background. What are we
As in,
gonna
like,
change
from
it to?
away from our fantastic logo.
The
Apparently.
logo's pretty good, man.
I
but
know.
Alright, we can do this. What would you like to see? Here's the real question.
I don't know. How about a slideshow of Google image results? You know.
Can you do that? Does Google have an inbuilt slideshow function?
Probably not actually. Yeah,
Probably
you
not,
can.
yeah.
You can just keep pressing the left key, right, and just cycle through it. Although it'll probably end up, I don't know, copyright strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, I'll do
but,
a
hey,
I'll try to Google things as we discuss them.
I've got that's a good
search in
idea.
Google uncopyrightable images. Do it right now.
I've got a tab open on my computer that just says spaghetti, so I'm pretty set over here.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, spaghetti, man.
Spaghetti.
The world's best carbs. So there's been a lot of stuff happening in the last couple of weeks, and some things exciting, some things not so exciting, starting with something that I believe James Carman, of all people, will be very interested in. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Very interested.
Oh, yeah.
That's a game. They've announced, obviously, their DLC and expansion plans through E3. And I imagine you saw that, like a snow-based
I did.
thing.
We looked at it, in fact.
Yeah. We talked about that a little.
Yeah, it's obviously looking pretty cool, but in preparation for that, they've released a new game plus and ultra hard mode.
Ultra hard mode.
Yeah,
Ultra hard mode.
mode.
Fuck yes,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and on top of that, obviously new game plus, you keep all your gear, you keep your stuff, and they've added a whole bunch of extra stuff for you to unlock. Like you have to, I suppose, grind out some extra stuff to get these additional weapons with more slots and customization options and stuff like that. Sounded like they introduced a new mechanic potentially, or not a new mechanic, but the enemies would be leaning very heavily on it. Like I think they called it Pain Sense or something in the difficulty mode. So perhaps you would actually have to because by the end, were you pretty powerful? Were you just rolling up on fools?
As I said, I kind of went back to revisit that game because the thing I love about the game, and which is just testament to it, as much as I'm loving Zelda, and we'll discuss this in great length at some point, I'm sure, but I feel like every battle I fight is kind of the same thing. I know how to use X weapons. The weapons are cool. I understand. You watch their mechanics, and you're like, cool. I need to do this, and then I beat them. And it's just a matter of rinse and repeat kind of thing.
Does that?
Whereas,
Does that kind of not happen in every game though? Like,
Totally,
as you know-
100%. And that's what I was gonna say about this game. Like, it's still the same thing. It's just that it's slightly different because it's more about like it's still the same like rinse and repeat. Like once you figure out how to beat the enemy, but because it's I don't know, it's hard to explain. But like it's all the mechanics you do to fight are always the same. Like you've just got arrows that you're shooting, but you need to like understand the weak points. And then it's you're a hunter, so it's all about like luring people over to do this. So you develop your own strategy to beat things, which as you said, it's the same as any other game. But it feels more like once you figure out their weak point, you're kind of like, I am now the master of this animal, this beast. And that's why like at the end of the game, I just put it up to the max difficulty, turned off the UI, and started roaming around like a hunter. Because every time I found something, I'm like, I know how to beat you. I'll use these arsenal of tools, which is really cool.
And I think like the combat in Zero Dawn has a lot of stuff going for it. Like I think the melee stuff maybe is a little. I mean, it felt a little bit. I suppose
the melee's garbage. I never used it.
A bit picky, right? That's not where the fun was. It was all in the range stuff. But the fact that you have different areas to target on the enemies that have very defined, I suppose, impact. You shoot off the back canisters of one of those reindeer things, and then you can attack it in a different way, and it reveals a weak point. It does make that form of the combat more versatile. But I actually was going to talk about Breath of the Wild and the combat system a bit later on, but why the hell not now? Because they released the first DLC package, as I mentioned, I think last week. But I've been playing a lot more of it since then. I've just actually earlier tonight finished my final Divine Beast. And one of the things that they've added in the game is this Hero's Trial mode or Hero's Path or whatever. And it's basically it's like, almost, I don't know, it's necessarily endless levels of increasing difficulty with enemies. And it's got Eventide Island rules. So that was the island I spent a while talking about. Ages ago.
Yep.
So you go in there, of course you keep your hearts, you lose your abilities, all that kind of stuff, you die, you go back to the start. Very brutal. It's very, very difficult to get through, which I quite like, it's good to see. But it's the same thing that Eventide Island made me engage with all the mechanics because I was in such a limited form. This did the same thing. And at the root of it, when you're really pushed in Zelda, I think the combat system is actually quite good. But the problem with Zelda is that it rarely asks out of you because you're eventually just going to be way too powerful. And you just run up on fools and you just mash the button until you're good to go. But in this, I'm crawling around. I'm, climbing up in trees, getting a shot off on a bit of rope so a thing drops through the air and it ignites a chain reaction. I'm picking up rocks, throwing them at choo-choos. I'm shooting my bow and arrow at choo-choo jellies to make them explode. I'm using all the various forms of this combat system in a much more engaging way than I think typically you do. Just you have to in that game.
This is the Master Trials, right?
Yeah, exactly what it's called. Yeah,
both of them, the DLC for both Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda are both just post-game content sort of thing.
Okay.
Cool.
I mean, I would say that
the first
PUBG, not PUBG, fuck. Zelda stuff is end game. Of course, I've started doing it. It's not at the end game. I've got about half the available max hearts.
Okay.
And I've completed the first stage of it, but
man, that's insane. How many hearts are max? Like I'm just looking at some images now, and it looks like there's like 20.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, I know that I think there's 30 potentially.
That's insane.
I think there's
At
15
the moment,
on a row.
I have 5, and even with 5, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like I never die. Like
wait, like if you keep it at that stage, you will get wrecked 1,000 times over because the enemies really start getting.
I assume you're going to need a lot more for this post-game content that you.
Yeah, that's the only bit of progress you really take in with you, right? How many hearts you have, and you will die one hit with most of the enemies at that stage. So
yeah, okay. I mean, like it's just because obviously like the game, like we should talk about this later, but yeah, like the mechanics in the game also help you survive, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I just feel like there hasn't really, especially now that I've got 2 Divine Beasts, like. There hasn't really been a point in time where I'm like, oh, I don't think I'll be able to beat this because I just don't have enough health. Like,
yeah. There's rarely that problem on the Zelda side.
Yeah, but I guess it's not that kind of game. Like, it's not trying to do that.
There are some pretty cool stuff about the expansion though. While we're talking about it, the first part of the DLC is like a lot of it is mostly just additional stuff from previous Zelda games, and like for example Majora's Mask or some of the gear from Twilight Princess or some of the gear from Wind Waker, and it's really cool because I don't know about you, Jamie, but I really like playing dress ups in that game.
In Zelda?
Yeah, like once you get a certain amount of gear, you can make him look gangster as fuck.
I don't have any gear, man.
You don't have any gear?
The only gear I have are the bandana I picked up, So I
Yeah.
was just rocking around like with a bandana and shirtless for most of the game.
Yeah.
And then I did the first one, which was the Zora. So I got the swimming armor.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then I was just using that because I'm like, well, it's the only armor I really have. And then I just did the fire one, Death Mountain.
Yep.
So I have the fire armor. So, and yeah, that's all I've got really.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, that's obviously not a lot to get started, but as you start exploring, you get some...
Yeah, you'll
like,
find
you know, once you get Majora's Mask, I'm just, like, running around in Majora's Mask being like, yeah, fucking whatever. Like, it's really good to... Once you get that kind of full kit available to you. And the way that they've set it up is they haven't just handed you these DLC items, they've given you a bit of a breadcrumb trail, and they give you a little clue, and you just need to go find it in the game world. But it took me fucking ages to find any of them, because I made a very critical error, but I was literally running around. I was talking to Steph about it after looking for about an hour and a half for this one particular item, and Steph said, "Well, what about that chest that you're currently standing on?" I'm like, "I didn't what?" And then, yeah, it was under my feet the entire time. But
Nice.
like, it's pretty good. It's very rewarding, and that game continues to be unbelievably good.
No, it is a quality game.
But yeah, I definitely recommend you check it out. That's the thing. What are you going to do with the DLC? Because I suppose Morgan will eventually get it, right?
Yeah, but that'd be presumably when he's back. So I don't know. I mean, so for people who don't know, because I guess it has been less than 2 weeks, I went and bought myself a Switch because, you know, I'm a sucker.
Yeah, man, it's a good console. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Nah, yeah, sure. But, you know, the problem, as previously discussed, is Nintendo doesn't let you transfer your save files across, which is really fucking annoying. So I have to finish my save file on the current Switch, and then I guess I'll start using my actual Switch for things. So at the moment, I just have a Switch there, sitting there doing nothing, and I don't really want to invest in buying any DLC on Morgan's Switch, because it's Morgan's Switch.
Yeah.
So I figure what I'll do is I'm kind of, I was playing the game before, like, you know, exploring every nook and cranny, taking my fucking time. But now I'm like, alright, because I own the game and own the console, I might just sort of smash it out. I'll skip a lot of stuff, I'm sure, but then I'll just play it again, and I'll get the DLC, and I'll take my time.
Do
kind of
everything
thing.
all the way through.
Yeah, it's a
100%.
hard situation. That is a
It's so
very
stupid,
difficult.
though.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's a similar situation.
This day and age.
Yeah, it's just one of those glaring holes. But you know, it's Nintendo. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit, man. They'll just do what they want. But
They will.
Like,
I mean, I can't believe they don't have cloud saving, but whatever.
I mean, like, games journalists who, like, you know, one of the guys who covered it from Giant Bomb was such an unbelievable proponent of the game. But he's like, it's on the Switch at, you know, on the Giant Bomb Switch, and I don't have access to it, so I guess I'm just not going to play the DLC. And that's just. It's amazing how much of a fucking bummer that is, because especially in your situation, there's no good answer either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand why you want to rush through it and then do it all again on yours or whatever the case is. And I'll probably do the same thing, to be honest. But obviously, it's a bit of a situation.
It's just a bummer. It just ruins the sort of first playthrough
Well,
of the game.
How far are you in? Like, really? Have you done any Divine Beasts?
I've done 2.
What are you at? Done 2 Divine Beasts. Which 2 have you done?
That's
You did Fire
and
Four, right?
Water.
Four,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Look, the thing is, I could totally restart, but it's like, as we previously discussed with these kind of games, it's all about your story, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I've had my story. Like, I've got so much crap, like, because I've gone on these adventures and I've gone here and there and I've explored. I've done so many shrines. Like, I've got 20 thingies just sitting there that I haven't really cashed in yet because I'm like, I don't really need to. So,
Oh, you mean you haven't bought because your name's James Carmen, you're just never gonna fucking use them, are you?
I don't need them, Dan. I'll
Yeah,
get them when
fair
I need
enough,
them.
fair enough,
No,
yeah.
I totally will get them. I just really haven't come across one. Or like I found one like around, but I was like, I don't know. I have this stupid thing where I'm like, I'll keep them there, you know? Maybe then I'll need them.
You'll eventually have to cash them in, so no.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I was actually going to ask you, is there a limit on that?
What on how many of the?
Of how many of the orbs you can hold?
I mean, dude, I spend mine because I'm not insane, so I've never run into.
Okay,
That.
fair
I don't
enough.
know. But yeah, you'll find out one with the other, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, anyway, point being, like, I've got potentially like another 4 hearts worth of things there.
Hold on. I just love the image of you completing a shrine and having that little thing at the end, and him being like, "Yeah, well done for completing the shrine," blah blah blah, and then it's just like, you don't have enough inventory space. Sorry, buddy, and it just kicks you out. Like, GG.
In fact, I actually thought I had, because I thought when I was on like 13 or something, I thought I already had 13, and then I completed the shrine, and then I swear like it said 13, and then it usually goes up to like the next number. It just didn't change, and I was like, what the fuck? And I went back into the shrine, and it was gone. And I was like, did I just lose that one? Have I like reached the cap or something?
I don't know, man. That would be fucking hilarious. But
yeah, but I mean, it has since continued up, so maybe I was just going crazy.
Yeah, as if you don't just cash them in with stamina, man. As if
Oh,
you don't...
yeah, I probably will.
Stamina is like, I mean, I maxed my stamina early.
But here's the thing, and this is what I was saying, like, it hasn't reached a point where I'm like, oh, I can't beat this enemy because they just one-hit me all the fucking time, and I can't dodge or anything. So, but I'm thinking they probably will be, as you said. So it might be worth keeping some.
You fought some Lionels now, right?
Are they the ones on the horse, the like
the
centaurs?
Horse things. Yeah,
I fought one, and he kicked my ass, and I was like, I'll come back. So,
yeah. I mean, like, as is the case with everything in that game, you want to be collecting. So try to do that. I'm speaking vaguely, but just
yeah.
It's fuck. It's such a fucking good game.
It's a good game, man. I carry the Switch around with me basically now. So any free time, like go for an hour out on the weekend, and I was like, I had literally like 5 minutes while she was getting ready. I'm like, just play a little bit of Zelda, and I was like, outside of a shrine, I'm like, yeah, I can do this shrine. That's fine.
I need to play it so
you
bad.
Really do, man.
I'm just waiting for you guys.
I would give you I'd give you one of my Switches, but unfortunately, we'd have the same problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, real talk though, it's shaping up to be such a great console.
It really is, man. I would recommend buying one. As I went and bought one. I'm not even
later in the year.
Yeah, I mean,
I am going to upgrade my computer very soon.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Spend that money wisely, but like maybe wait to play your Zelda. I like waiting to get your Switch because like that's you don't want to end up in Jamie's situation, right? It's kind of a bit
exactly.
But it's not the end. I just uncovered my last piece of the map. I was a little bit sad, to be honest. Like finally, I mean, I've talked to you guys about assembling all my screenshots into a little book once I'm done. Wonder if I can actually do that, but because I have thousands of them, so I definitely need a lot of cutting to get that shit through the line. But yeah, man, Zelda's good. Zelda's great. In other news, a couple of things have happened. Crash has been mastered. Fucking Crash.
It's sold a shit ton as well, apparently.
It sold more than any other game on a single platform has this year.
Insane.
Yeah.
It outsold Horizon Zero Dawn. It absolutely destroyed it.
It's got that nostalgia, I guess.
Yeah. And like there's a lot of PS4s out there, and there's a lot of people who've played Crash, right? And obviously there's an appetite for it, but been hearing a few middling things about the difficulty of that game. You guys heard about that?
Yeah, apparently a lot of the movement is a bit buggy, a little.
Yeah, and then what Matt was saying, that like they've like tried to smooth things and in turn kind of like made introduced lag.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's
and like
potentially
collisions and stuff.
Not just that. I've seen people put out a video of like there's this basically a level where there's like a turtle you have to jump on to go get across a certain thing, and the turtle you jump on it and you can't get about. Yeah, you can't get over to the other platform.
I've dropped out.
Yeah, you've dropped out.
Definitely.
Say again?
He thinks he's dropped out.
Yeah, he's definitely not dropped out. Hello.
You are here.
You were here the whole time.
Oh my god, he's probably just lagging because he's bad internet. But I don't know. It's kind of disappointing, I guess, because it's like.
I haven't. Perhaps I just unplugged my headphones. Let's find out 1 second. Sorry, guys.
So I'm just looking at this. Like, it's obviously doing quite well because like it's got shitloads of sales. But I guess there are a lot of semi-complaints about it just because of the nature of it being like an old game remastered kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
back, by the way.
To be honest, welcome back. You weren't gone the whole time, by the way.
Yes, I turned my headphones off like a dildo.
But like if I had a PS originally, I probably would have bought the game now just because for nostalgia's sake, sort of thing.
I thought about it. It's like a full retail price game, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's all 3 games, right?
Yeah, I think it's a trilogy.
Yeah. And again, I'm not sure how you guys were speaking about it, but I've heard that the one of the big changes was that they made his collision box a collider, or a capsule, sorry, not a collider. Yeah, so you can slide off the edge of objects in a way that you couldn't previously because he had effectively a rectangular prism as a collision box. And the animation on his jump is slightly faster, like he hits the ground a few frames earlier. And that obviously is a pretty massive change when some of the jumps in Crash were already relatively difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's obviously selling well, and people are losing their goddamn mind at how difficult it is. But I wouldn't be surprised as a result of these numbers that we see some new Crash, actually some actual new Crash, in development or announced at next E3. Because I mean, man, it's selling like absolute hotcakes.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves their favorite Bandicoot.
Yep, man. Crash it's a big hit.
Yep.
They should do the same thing with Spyro.
I
love Spyro.
Every old game. Like,
I think they are, Simon.
Yeah, man.
I think that's the plan.
It seems to be the game industry in the last few years. Let's keep on fucking remastering. At a point though, you just gotta make games as a service. It'll be all good.
Toe Jam. That's what I want.
Fuck yeah. I'm waiting for the Bubsy re-release, re-announce. I don't know if you guys heard.
Yeah,
Bubsy's coming back, man. He's making a big comeback. Trust me. Yeah.
I remember Bubsy.
Bubsy 3D. It was like kind of Sonic, right? Wasn't it? Like in terms of how it played?
Ish, I believe.
I remember something real fucked up. Like you'd be chasing Yarn and sliding down.
Cat.
Yeah. You'd slide down this waterfall thing. Oh man, it was like...
Bubsy Strikes Back? Is that like a new thing?
First release Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Third Kind.
Jet Force Gemini remake has been requested, and I'd be all over Jet Force Gemini, man. I tried playing Jet Force Gemini recently, and it don't do that. Just don't go back. Just remember it as it was in your mind. It's a lot better that way. I promise you.
It's probably the better way
to live your life. What was I going to talk about next? Segways.
I was the guy who rode off the cliff.
No, I was straight up thinking. About. I think it was as a result of a larger conversation. But what if, like, one day you woke up and you just had segways for feet?
I'd love that.
Like two segways? Awesome.
Yeah, like two segways.
So
I mean, one for each foot.
So really, you're just saying you have wheels instead of feet.
Yeah.
Nah, man, segways are way different.
Electronic wheels.
Segways have their own mind, each of them, right? So, like, you have to tilt forward, otherwise you got a whole situation. Thing is, I don't think I'd make it through a day before I'd ripped both of my legs off.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You'd be like,
100%.
like Daleks, stairs would be your worst enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to go
fly then, apparently.
Yeah, that's bullshit, man. I'm not okay with that. Daleks.
That's law breaking. Come on.
Nope.
Yep. That being said, they've been like time locked like 4 times, so sure, whatever. And they do come from a futuristic race that like destroyed everything, so it makes sense that they could probably fly.
You think stairs would be something they could conquer? Yeah.
Like we conquered everything except stairs. Fuck those guys.
Overwatch. You guys remember that game? Remember that whole fucking thing?
Yeah, man.
I haven't played it in months.
Yeah.
We definitely should try it again at some stage, especially with
a new hero being announced or released. Doomfist.
Or released on PTR at the moment.
Oh, he's not actually all the way out. Okay, fair enough.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that maybe we should even stream some. But I kind of
has one hell.
I just kind of want to be PUBG. Yeah, he does. It's not voiced by Terry Crews, which
disappointing.
Oh man, there's a great a video I found today of basically the Old Spice body wash, like played over and over again, just with Doomfist punching people. Amazing.
Oh, right.
I'll link it to you guys.
Yeah, sick. It sounds like he's pretty cool mobility focused. Really, he has got a lot of melee attacks. There's an uppercut, a dash, like a right straight punch. I don't know what his ulti does.
His ulti, basically, he jumps high into the air and then creates like a area of effect, sort of stun thing
on the ground. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, on the ground.
Yeah, cool. I mean,
it looks kind of cool actually because he can like move.
He can, I saw some of the ways people were shortcutting around the map using him, and it seems pretty powerful. So again, it's been so long since I played Overwatch. I think my wrist can actually handle it now, but it's something that.
That is the video, by the way, in Mumble.
So he shoots out of one fist and then punches with the other fist.
The gun shoot and punching man.
Shoot, punching man.
Shoot and punch.
Basically, it's like a charge as well. The punch.
Yeah, right.
One of the big punches.
So it's Is he what class is he? Is he a tank?
He's a tank.
I'd say to be a tank.
Oh, okay, right.
No, it's attack, I believe.
Oh, he's attack.
What health does he have?
Oh, I suppose it makes sense.
250, I believe.
Rocket punch. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, rocket punch looks hilarious, according to this video, which I linked. You guys should definitely watch it at some stage.
Meteor Strike is his ulti, is it?
Yeah.
Hey, so he just jumps up.
Like.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just literally.
He looks pretty gangster.
I gotta say, the animations are very lackluster. I don't.
Yeah.
The first person ones, you mean?
No, I'm just watching like the Blizzard official like on the site. Like here's how the abilities are, and everything's just like, Like,
Yeah,
that's
not
kind of
replaying
how Overwatch is. It's not designed to be like,
What-
you know...
I thought you were
One
going to
of
say
them-
that.
One of
feel
them
about
though
it?
looks so much
Yeah,
like
a little
his
bit.
ultimate sort of thing.
I'm
One
having a
of
look.
his.
Oh, the uppercut one, maybe? Where he kind of goes up?
Uh,
Or the...
not the.
I don't know.
I don't think it's uppercut.
He's just
Hold on.
punching. He just punches and shoots.
Yeah.
Punch and shoot.
I can imagine satisfying to play though.
Yeah,
If he,
totally.
you know,
Imagine
getting
running
up
up and punching someone.
Yeah, I'd be interested. He obviously has. He literally has. Okay, media is a damage thing.
What's
I don't know.
called?
It really it
Seismic
looked
slam.
lackluster as fuck. You're
There's
right.
I know, and it's just so disappointing, everything that happens.
Yeah.
Right
look
in.
at Seismic Slam.
Yeah.
It basically kind of just looks like a shit version of his ultimate.
Yeah, exactly.
think so.
Yeah. Like, he just... And, like, I love how, at least in this, because obviously they've made the heroes invulnerable? Invulnerable.
Yeah.
They just kind of hop. It's like, boom.
Well,
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
that's what fucks it up the most. It's just
Yeah.
like they're like, what? Like I'm not stunned.
Yeah.
I don't care, man.
Yeah. Are they
look
supposed
like that's
Yeah, knocking nearby enemies towards him. That's kind of
Yeah.
weird. I guess
Is
that...
this just a bad video?
Maybe... But this is the
Probably.
official Blizzard one, man. Like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Significant damage, whatever that
Anyway,
is.
I guess like these things do compound together. Like, you know, he knocked enemies towards him, so that would help for like the black hole sort of wombo combo things.
Yeah, I mean, imagine playing him will be a different story to watching his ability videos and stuff. But
I'll tell you.
yeah,
We should check it out.
Yeah, we'll get back.
Definitely. When
Well, it
he's,
has
when he's
been
in the
months.
game.
Like,
has,
I don't
yeah.
know why I don't have a single drop of drive to play Overwatch. I don't
Neither do I.
understand
Yeah.
why.
Either
It's
way.
I don't know. I feel like there's a part of that game that's missing soul. You know, it's such a
Yeah.
general statement to say, but TF2.
Yeah, have
That's
some.
the thing.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like playing TF2 more than this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Although I wonder how far TF2's gone. You know, it's like I was watching a video of how.
TF2's gone, man.
Yeah,
it was
Yeah.
gone. It's
There was
cooked.
a video talking about how they handed development of TF2 effectively to the community, and there's a quote from Valve being like, or Gabe Newell, in fact, saying, "Oh, there's no way we could keep up with the amount of content that they were pushing out that was really good, so we just handed the game to the community." And then right next to it was a screenshot of the original Sniper versus Sniper, which was fully kitted out, with, you know, the earbuds and the shit flying around his head, a golden sniper rifle. Like, it's just it's gone completely off the rails. But, like, screw it, man. I'm glad it exists. You know.
Oh yeah, it's the same as like, you know, how people look back at Vanilla WoW with great nostalgia and like, oh, such a good game. Then it's like, in
Yeah.
reality, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of good things about it.
I
So
think
like
this-
looking back and not with all the craziness that is now, like with dress ups in WoW and that sort of stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
User-driven stories. Well, what it's about, though, right? Like initial screenshots. Looking at my initial screenshots of when I played WoW is the things where I still remember, like we tried to fly from one island to another. That
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's
those
just
were
lost now.
moments. Yeah, those were moments that you're just not going to have.
Yeah, and it's the same with like TF2. You know, we'd have times, and look, I'm sure we shouldn't shit on it because people do this with Overwatch. It's just not our game. But like with
Yeah.
TF2, we'd have times where like, you know, we'd go spy or whatever, and we'd just have our own little strategies of like how we would do this. And I'm sure people do that with Overwatch, where they're like, all right, I'm gonna play fucking, I don't know, I don't even know anything about Overwatch anymore, like McCree, and only stun people or something. Fucking, I don't know, like, and have their own play.
Yeah.
Like that. But just because of the nature of the game modes, like,
I think it's
know.
just the polish, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
Blizzard polishing the shit out of it to a point where it loses that sense of soul. That
man.
it's
Yeah.
a hard
I
term
think
to really
we've
define.
we've
but
identified soul. It comes from the shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's from
If you don't have
everyone-
shit, you have no soul.
Yeah, man, just everyone running nothing but demo nights on every map. Just
Yeah,
come
exactly.
on.
Like, that's
What else are you
awesome.
gonna do?
I love
That was
that.
so many, and then,
Yeah.
then they made the game mode for it and
I
everything.
know.
Like, stupid fun is something that they captured so well in that game, and something that I don't think Overwatch captures because there's so many people trying to be. I don't know. I think tryhard is a bad word to use, but like it seems like everyone's trying to just be super hard all the time, and
I don't know.
I
I think they
don't know.
tried too hard to make it an esport. Like,
oh, dude,
Yeah.
The thing is though, they're just throwing money at it to the point where I think what was
is
the
it? You
sign
need,
up
what,
cost?
25 million or something like that?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They're trying to establish an
What, a
esports
team?
network that's basically the same as the NBA in terms of how
Yeah.
business runs. And, like, that's cool, legitimize esports all you want, but I don't know if that's going to gel with the existing user base of esports.
Yeah,
Because,
exactly.
like, esports have always been this funny thing where it's very low to the ground, and most of the roots come from, like, small LANs and then turning into bigger LANs or hotel room, fighting game
exactly.
tournaments and
As I
stuff.
said, soul.
Soul. It turns out, capitalism doesn't necessarily gel with the soul.
Oh,
What are you
there's
gonna do?
them fighting words, Dan.
Yeah, man, shit. I'm fucking throwing up them fists. We got some other news, some other small news. Our favorite game, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds,
Hey.
has have a few headlines recently because people were handing around the Brendan Green, PlayerUnknown himself. He a couple of interviews over the course of 3, and he said we're going to be out of early access in 6 months, guaranteed. And he was touring around the world saying this in a whole bunch of interviews, and then very shortly after he got back and presumably talked to his development team, who was like, dude, what the fuck? He released a statement that said, nah, we're gonna just focus on getting it done, kind of thing.
That explains this this title, PlayerUnknown's Battleground, full release delayed until end of 2017.
Yep, it's not gonna happen.
They have
guaranteed.
posted some photos of the desert map though.
Oh man,
Cool.
yeah. It looks
awesome.
rad, yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of the who knows what they do, and this is the exciting part about playing an early access game that's as good as this.
Yeah.
Are they gonna throw in different game mechanics? Is the red zone gonna change to what I heard someone suggest was a sandstorm, so you can still move about?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But you can't see shit, and it's complete cover from a sound perspective as well.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, who knows what they're gonna do, but
I just
very
can't wait
excited.
for like new maps.
Yeah.
I can't remember
this
who
map
I was
does
talking
look
to,
very
but
cool.
someone suggested like an actual city map would be awesome as well.
He initially were talking about, apparently in their initial conversations with what they want to do with some of the next maps, one of the initial concepts that they talked about and might actually be doing is something that is largely vertical. So they said like
like a
buildings which
tower.
had said like buildings which had like over 30 or 40 levels kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
that would be
awesome.
interesting.
That'd be very cool.
One big skyscraper.
I'll tell you what this is doing to me a little bit though. Like, it's taking me back to remember playing like Battlefield, like 1942,
42,
yeah,
42.
or like what was the sequel?
Vietnam?
Vietnam, yep. Where it's kind of you knew the map and the maps and the areas, and you're like, you look forward to playing on that to do X, Y, and Z. Like it's the same as this game. Like we're getting to know the map quite well, like to the point, obviously, where when the plane comes in, you look down at the ground, you're like, oh, coming from here, we can go to these are our options, kind of thing. So the more that happens, and when they release more maps, I look forward to the point of being like, oh, it's this map, cool, we can go do this thing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that.
I think that's the thing. Like initially, I think my thoughts on PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds were that I always wanted the maps to be fresh. Like I did kind of want to memorize the maps purely from the perspective that I liked the sense of just not knowing where I was and just being like, okay, there could be anyone anywhere kind of thing. But that has been replaced very much so by the knowing the map and realizing that, okay, there's a major town center there, or from here I know there's a good vantage point. I've got a very good sniper rifle. Where should I go? Pro tip: it's the pit. And just trying to find somewhere to hide out is a lot easier from that front. I've been playing so much of that game, goddamn much.
I'm pretty keen to play some shortly.
Same.
Yeah.
So any more news, Dan?
No, that's about it. Actually,
We're done. Get out of here.
No. No, but that is actually real talk. Just about it for the podcast today. Have you guys been playing anything of note you want to talk about before we jump off and play some
playing
PUBG?
a shitload of Overcooked.
Oh yeah, dude, legit.
Yeah, because so Steph and I finished Trine, which is something I had never done before, which is cool.
Was that the original one?
That was the original one, and I gotta say that game is so much fun, but the story is so shit.
Oh, it's trash, man.
It's just so poorly delivered. Like
I like the narrator though.
Oh, the narrator's excellent, but like the whole idea of we give you the story at the beginning of the level and in the loading screen, and then like what the fuck is that? And then like the cutscenes are just like crappy graphics, like just pictures, sorry, as they're like, oh, and then this happened and this happened, and all you're seeing is like a forest, like, really? Like,
how is that an age? Because I remember like when I first played that, thinking it was very beautiful.
It's very beautiful. No, it's
okay,
good.
cool.
Especially
Still
playing it in
solid.
4K, man.
Premium, get them 4K
Discourse.
content.
Oh, it's good shit.
Hell
man.
yeah.
But yeah, so we finished that, and I was like, oh, give Overcooked a try. And yeah, like Overcooked's just fun, man. It brings out.
We got to play more of that.
It is really.
I miss it.
We've almost finished that game now, actually. But it brings out the perfectionist in me because I'm like, we must 3-star all the things.
Yep.
But is that just the two of you as well?
Yep.
See, I imagine. Well, I mean, I know it's going to be just like twice as hectic, obviously, with 4 people.
I think they scale the goal.
It does scale. Yeah. It definitely scales. That being said, some of the maps are like we struggled because we're like, how the fuck do you do this with 2 people?
Two
Like,
people,
If you
yeah.
had 4 people, it would be harder because obviously the goal would be further away. But you'd have more people, and like when the map moves around, you'd have someone in every quadrant. Where we had to kind of be like, shit, it's moving. You need to get up there. I have to be down here. But it's very cool. And like one thing I have noticed about that game is like, as we've previously discussed, it's like, emulates the madness of like a hospitality environment, or what we can imagine, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's also a really cool puzzle game because like ultimately that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
You we threw our heads against the wall a couple of levels, and then I kind of sit back and I'm like, all right, let's think about this. What's going on? What do we have to do? That's happening there. You do this, I'll do this, and we'll just keep this cycle going. And then you fucking nail it, and you're like, that was it. That's exactly what we needed to figure out.
Nice. And when you do nail it, you feel like such a well-oiled machine, right?
Exactly.
Like it does cooperation so fucking. Like it really captures that sense of really having to rely on your teammates in a way that I don't think a lot of other co-op games, because it's like, I need some fucking chopped onions.
Where's the soup?
Chopped onions.
I need the soup.
It's a real good stress test, man. Up there with going to IKEA with a prospective partner, just see how things are going, you know.
It's
What about
no, that's very good though. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
what about you, Simon? You been on much?
I have. I started playing one of the games I bought during the Steam sales.
Oh, yeah.
I have started playing Mechazoo.
Mechazoo.
Yes. It's kind of like a 3D platformer, sort of Sonic-style game. Obviously, like changes angles and whatnot. But basically, you're a mechanoid-type animal, and you start off as a armadillo, and you can unlock other creatures. There's a frog, a kangaroo, a panda, a pelican.
Okay.
Shit like
Looks
that.
interesting, man.
Really cool, actually.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
kind of-
Basically,
Like,
each animal has a certain ability. Like the armadillo kind of goes Sonic mode and just curls into a ball and
I
goes
feel like
quick.
I have heard of this before, actually.
I mentioned it last week.
Oh, okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, the frog uses its tongue to grab and hold stuff and swing off stuff.
I definitely play this. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's great.
It seems as though the
that's really-
platforming changes, like, the camera swaps from, like, 2D
Yes.
to 3D kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot, like, all the time as well.
Huh.
It's great as well. It has, like, a lot of replayability. Basically, there's multiple ways to do the routes depending on, like, what animal you are, and obviously you can swap animal mid-run. There's a button to change animal as you're going, sort of thing. So there'll be stuff where you need to roll up, like, a vert ramp or whatnot as the armadillo, and then quickly change into the frog to grab something with your tongue, then just, like, to swing to the next platform, or to change to the pelican to fly somewhere. Stuff like that. And there's a whole bunch of, like, hidden gems and stuff you need to find as well. Apparently it's also co-op, which is really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
it
honestly, it
sounds
looks
pretty
like
rad,
a
man.
really cool game that I wish was on the Switch.
Yeah,
Hey, man,
oh,
yeah.
gosh, it'd be great for the Switch,
Yeah.
I think.
There's a lot of people wanting games on the Switch to this point, which is meaning that if you get a game on the Switch right now, it's likely going to sell quite well,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. I mean, I'm still playing that Mighty Gun Volt Burst, actually. Speaking of, because sorry, Simon, I don't mean to jump on your spot, man.
No, that's all right.
But it's really good, man. For like Mega Man. It's ticking all the boxes for hitting all three of those Mega Man at once. It's got a certain amount of replayability on each of the levels, because there are certain, I suppose, achievement goals, like go through this level using this item specifically, or sorry, this style of beam, and they are pretty good challenges, I think. Mega Man games do actually have a relatively high skill ceiling, and after playing a little bit more of it and starting to be able to flaunt that ability, it's very rewarding. It's cool.
That's cool.
And honestly, again, it's like $10. If you're looking to mix up your Switch experience, then I definitely recommend it for just a change of pace, actually. And yeah, but speaking of Switch things, do you think you're gonna get Splatoon, Jamie?
Maybe. It's
Because you should get the global test fire, man, because it is in a couple of days everyone can play for free for a couple of days as well. So
I'll jump on it.
hey, man,
May as well
why
check it out.
not, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good game. Like again,
an
whether or not
esport,
someone
right?
can. Yeah, but apparently it's if Nintendo has their way. Hopefully the leagues don't cost $250 million to start. But you never know. Go cross fingers there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting on that, because Splatoon 1 was cool, but I mean, I don't know if I'm going to buy it, to be honest. I'm going to play the test fire and see what happens.
Well, maybe we should work out a time where we both can play it and sort of check it out. Because I'm assuming
I wonder if
we can queue together.
Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't bank on it, really.
Hey man, it's only 2017. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not like 2030 yet.
That's just about going to do it for us here at the podcast. But if you're watching the live stream, we are going to be we're going to be back. Are you going to be taking the stream offline quickly?
I'll take it offline, and then we'll be back online probably 10 minutes or so.
Cool bananas. Yeah, because we're going to be. Yeah, we're going to jump into some PUBG, so feel free to jump in the chat. If, of course, you're listening to this at a later date, we'll be back next week with a similar probably stream or something to that effect. Probably on the Tuesday, though, unless you guys want to do it without me. Happy if you guys want to do that.
No, we can do Tuesday. That's good.
No, we can do Tuesday.
And then back to your regularly scheduled programming after that. So thank you so much for listening and or watching. My name's Dan. I've been your host, joined by James Carmen and Simon McDowell.
Hello and goodbye.
Hello, and also goodbye as well.
And yeah, I think that's about it. So fucking just.
That's it.
Just fade away.
That's it. I gotta. I'm not ready for this. I haven't. What happened to all that crap that I usually do?
Yeah, man. I don't know. Are you ready for it?
No,
Fine,
I don't know.
Just...
Fuck it. I'm just gonna hard kill it.
Hard cut. Bye.
Bye.